Hi, I'm Melissa with OnlineLabels.com, and today I'm going to show you how to easily apply labels to your products. Designing your label is only part of the process. After you get your labels printed, you have to figure out how you're going to apply them to your products. While it may seem straightforward at first, there are some important things to consider if you want this process to move quickly and efficiently. In this video, we will cover when in the production process you should apply your labels, how to prep your supplies, the best way to apply your labels, and some useful tips to help this process be as smooth as possible. The first thing you should consider after printing your labels is when to stick them to your products. Depending on the product you are making, there could be changes in temperature, moisture, or other conditions that may affect your label. If you make and sell candles, for example, you'll want to wait until after the wax cools before applying your labels. If you apply your labels before you pour the wax, the heat may cause your label adhesive to melt. On the other hand, if your product needs to be frozen, you would want to apply your label before you freeze it, so that way there isn't any ice or moisture that may affect how well your label sticks. Other factors to consider here depend on the product you are making, but could include whether your product will be exposed to any other types of moisture, if there are any other packaging or seals that will go on it, and anything else in your production process that may come into contact with the label or change in the conditions it is in. Before you start applying your labels, make sure all of your materials and supplies are prepped and ready. One of the most important things you can do to prepare for labeling is to clean. Make sure whatever you're labeling on and your products have been cleaned of dirt, dust, and anything that could get stuck between them. Also, wash your hands prior to labeling. Your skin produces natural oils that can reduce the tack on your labels over time, leading them to not stick as well. Depending on the surface you are applying your labels to, they may have a hard time sticking and could peel. Surfaces like glass, tin, and copper maintain a stronger hold to label adhesive than surfaces like polyplastics and Teflon. These materials tend to be more flexible and have a sleeker finish, making them harder for a label to stick to. You can help make sure your labels stick to the product by rubbing it with a piece of fine sandpaper or emery cloth before labeling to give it some more texture for the adhesive to stick to. You can also upgrade your labels to our weatherproof or aggressive materials that feature stronger adhesives. Now that all of the prep work is done, it's time to start applying your labels. As you get started, it's helpful to keep an example of a perfect application within eyesight. This will give you a model to reference so you are consistently applying the labels in the same area every time. To properly apply your labels, first stabilize the container they are being applied to so it doesn't shift or roll away during application. You can do this by holding it in your lap or placing it between two heavier objects like books. Next, peel your label away from the label sheet rather than holding the label and peeling the sheet away from it. This will help prevent the label from curling. As you apply your label, make sure you start from the middle and work your way out to the edges to help prevent creases and air bubbles from forming. If you start from the edge of the label and stretch it around the container, the extra pressure could cause the label to peel. Keep in mind that your process may need extra steps depending on what you're labeling. Be sure to experiment with your labels and products to find a process that works best for you while still producing consistent results. We cover more specific labeling needs in some of our previous videos that we will link to in the description below. With that, you should be on your way to having an efficient labeling process that produces consistent and professional-looking products. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, let us know in the comments down below. For more information on labeling your products or to check out our massive selection of blank and custom labels, go to OnlineLabels.com.